Hey everybody, Uncle Creepy here for Dread Central, and we're doing something special for the Halloween season. What I'm doing right now is I'm going to give you 31 film choices, one for each day of the month of October, to make sure your Halloween viewing is as spooky and fun as. One of several anthologies found on this list, if you will, is Tales of Halloween. And Tales of Halloween sets itself apart from the other anthologies because here you have some of the best filmmakers working in the genre. Neil Marshall, Darren Bousman, Axel Carolyn, Mike Mendez, Dave Parker. I mean, they're all there, and they've all delivered such a kick-ass Halloween-themed time for fans of the genre who want to celebrate it, who want to celebrate all aspects of it. There's something literally for everybody in Tales of Halloween, and that's why it belongs quite possibly near the top of the top 10 of your Halloween viewing pleasure. Seriously, it's that damn good, it's that damned fun, and it belongs in your video collection now. Go, get the limited edition filled with other short films that didn't make the cut. Films like Andrew Cash's Thirsty, based on a tale from Joe Netter, starring Joe Lynch of all people, who went on to make Wrong Turn 2, Everly, and a bunch of kick-ass movies. Really, this is a package that you could start watching at 5 o'clock, and at midnight you'll probably still be delving into the extras and all the other fun stuff that's involved. So yeah, Tales of Halloween, make it your business to check this one out. Werewolf movies, unfortunately, are a dime a dozen. Good werewolf movies are anything but. If you're looking for a really good werewolf movie that you may or may not have seen, but I can guarantee you're either a fan of or gonna be a fan of, look no further than Ginger Snaps. This movie is the embodiment of the kick-ass horror film taken from a completely different standpoint that you probably never even thought of before. It has to do with what happens to this poor young lady played by Catherine Isabel when that time of the month comes around. And let me tell you, menstrual blood isn't the only blood shed in this bad boy. It's kick-ass, it's hairy, scary fun, and you need it on your list. That's right, Ginger Snaps. It spawned 2 sequels, and if any justice happens in this world, maybe it'll get revisited soon, but I kind of doubt that. But you never know, everything else is getting a remake, so maybe we might see a Ginger Snaps TV show. I mean, Catherine Isabel is a regular on several TV shows, so hey, studios, make it happen, huh? Something worthwhile, please? As society continues, regular haunts just aren't good enough anymore. People want something more. They want something more visceral. They want something more in your face, something more hands-on, if you will. And that's exactly the type of haunt that's on display in the found footage movie, The Houses October Built. Now, I know what you're saying, found footage movie, shaky cam, yada yada yada. Well, it's all there. Every trope you could possibly think of that you don't like about found footage is completely on display. But what sets The Houses that October Built apart from that, usual crowd of stuff maybe you don't want to watch is the atmosphere created and the haunts that were used. I mean, real haunts were used in this movie. So in effect, it's like going through several haunted houses that you probably would never have made it to in hopes of coming across that one. That one that maybe is just a little bit darker. One where maybe the ghouls and the ghosts and the murderers don't exactly stay put after you leave. That is, if you can leave. Looking for some Halloween haunt fun with a big dash of horror? Check into The Houses October Built. The next film on our list is one of the first roles from actor Stephen Dorff, and I refer to, of course, The Gate, a movie that is so good it belongs on every Halloween list, and every good movie list, and every good horror movie list. On every list you could think of that has something to do with the horror genre, The Gate should be there. And why? Because it has literally everything from heavy metal to giant demons to little demons to even specters who live in your friggin' walls, man. We're talking chilling stuff with a fun cast and fun direction from director Tibor Takas, who's at his very best with The Gate. And it's something you don't want to miss. If you don't have this in your collection, you need to fix that like yesterday. It's available on DVD from Lionsgate. You could probably find it streaming on sites like Netflix and stuff like that. And you deserve to have this. You deserve to see it, and it deserves to be on your list this Halloween season. The Nightmare Before Christmas bears the unique distinction of being both a Halloween and a Christmas tale. And that's friggin' mind-blowing, man. But even though it has very good Yuletide overtones, don't be mistaken. This is very much a dark animated film for adults, even though some kids, if they're cool and you got cool parents, will enjoy it. So that being said, parents, talking to you. You have kids out there, raise them right. Let them cut their teeth on horror films like Mad Monster Party, like Nightmare Before Christmas, like Paranorman. Don't begrudge your kids the ability to grow up the way you did, okay? Spooky is fun. Spooky is adorable. And if spooky is handled right, then spooky can be a good part of every child's life. Look at me. I grew up okay, right? Beetlejuice. 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 Why doesn't this ever work? Why? I've been trying since the 80s, man. I even seen Winona Ryder once. I just walked up to her and I tried to get her to do it with me, and she just wouldn't do it. So, yes, I'm recommending Beetlejuice for you. Me? I've done it all. I've seen it all. I've been through it all in the horror genre. But I have one regret, and that one regret is not growing up during the era of William Castle. Here's a guy who invented viral marketing, okay? He would make his movies events. He'd have ambulances outside of theaters. You'd have to sign waivers. There were buzzers implanted in your seats. And with this next recommendation, there were actually floating skeletons thrown out over the audience during the movie. I refer, of course, to the original William Castle classic, House on Haunted Hill, which remains to this day one of the single most spooky and fun movies I've ever seen. I mean, it has it all. It has walking skeletons, severed heads, hands reaching around from corners, bodies hanging from nooses, apparitions. This movie is an A to Z guide about how to have a really fun haunted house movie. And William, I wish you were here today, and also the film star Vincent Price. Every movie needed Vincent Price. Every movie to this day needs Vincent Price. And God love you guys. God bless. Such a classic. It should be watched every day, not just Halloween. Growing up in the 70s, yes, I'm showing my age, my life was changed at age 3. Long story short, when my parents fell asleep, I used to wait to hear them snoring, and then I would jet out into the living room where we had this big-ass black and white console TV. And I would watch TV all night. And one night I was in there and I was flicking through the channels and I saw this newscast about the dead returning to life. And I nearly shit my pants, right? I ran, not walked, ran into my parents' bedroom. And I woke them up and I said, listen, the dead are coming and we got to get to rescue stations, okay? I remember saying those words. And they were uber pissed, man. They thought that I was having some sort of nightmare. But I dragged them into the living room and I pointed at the TV. And of course, what I was talking about was George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead, which featured that really famous newscast scene. And that night, I got my first spanking, man. And as I was laying in bed, I realized that even though I was completely terrified, I was still 100% safe. And Night of the Living Dead can still do that. It's still a very polarizing film. It still has so much to say. Its relevance keeps going on. It's a masterclass in terror. And Night of the Living Dead is something that should be on everyone's list, no matter what type of list it is. What's this? A TV movie? Well, listen. Back in the 70s and 80s, TV movies were actually really good. We got classics like The Gargoyles. We had classics like Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. And on October 24th, 1981, on TV first aired The Dark Night of the Scarecrow. And believe me when I tell you, it doesn't matter if it was TV, direct-to-video, even VOD nowadays, or theatrical. Dark Night of the Scarecrow is goddamn scary, okay? Goddamn scary. It starred Charles Durning. It was directed by Frank D. Felitta. It's just, there's so much I could tell you about this movie, and so much I could say. I could literally sit here and expound on it for like the next half an hour, but rather than you do that and you end up watching me for a half hour talking about Dark Night of the Scarecrow, go watch it yourself. It's on Blu-ray, it's on DVD, it's not hard to find, and it'll blow your mind. As horror fans, we share an unfortunate bond. Sometimes people look at us and they think that we're freaks, or they think we're irregular or we don't fit in. Well, you know what? We fit in with each other, and in the end, that's what it's about, because it's the rest of the world, as far as I'm concerned, who are the freaks. But not fitting in is a key point in this next recommendation for your Halloween Horror Essential viewing list. It's Lucky McKee's May, and it featured a poor, disconnected youth played by Angela Bettis, who just didn't fit in, who had no friends. So what did she do? Well, she made her own, and she made it in grand fashion. She made it in a way that would have had the great Dr. Frankenstein grinning from ear to ear. It's a hell of a movie, it has a hell of a message, and to this day there's nothing else like it. You need a good friend to get cozy with on your couch this Halloween season? Snuggle up to May. Just don't mind the stench. Satan's Little Helper from writer-director Jeff Lieberman, who you may know from Squirm. In this movie, it tells the tale of this little kid who's jealous of his sister's boyfriend, so he dons his Halloween costume and he heads out in search of the devil. And he finds a serial killer dressed like the devil and convinces him to come and kill his sister's boyfriend, which goes to show you that this little kid is an idiot. All he had to do was just not be a jealous douche and keep playing his video games. But no, now there's bloodshed, now there's murder, now there's horror. But thank God he did that, because we got one hell of a movie out of it. So listen, Satan's Little Helper, put him on your list. He may not be Santa, but I can tell you Big Red is a hell of a lot more fun.